What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of GBA. In this video we're talking about the Intellivision Amico. Now, I've been really hot and cold on whether or not I want to talk about this system, simply because on one side of the fence you have a very rabid fan base that loves this system, loves Tommy Tallarico, and they're not necessarily the first to criticize the system. Now, granted, they do have some criticisms. I've watched several videos where the Amiko fans do make certain criticisms, but overall they're very excited for the system and they are a rabid fan base. And on the other side of the fence you have a lot of people who absolutely hate this system, hate Tommy Tallarico, hate the way they handle things, and just have a lot of hatred towards the Miko in general. I fit somewhere down the middle. I am excited for the system. I do want to put that out there. I want to play this. I want to buy it. But I did not pre-order it, so I'm going to wait for it to come out in stores, or if I can go on their website and just purchase one to be shipped to my house. Why would I like to have an Intellivision Amico? Mainly because, as you can tell, I'm a video game collector. And not only that, I enjoy retro video games. I like them more than modern video games. Why? Because I don't really have all that time to put into these big blockbuster AAA games. A lot of times when I'm playing video games, I have 30 minutes to an hour tops. Every now and then I might fit in a longer gaming session, but usually it's just quick experiences that I can have with video games. So that's why I go back to a lot of stuff like the NES and the Super Nintendo, because there's a lot of quick experiences on those systems. I like arcade style experiences. The Intellivision Amico has a lot of games in those categories. Something I can play with my friends really quick or by myself. There's several games that they've showed that I think look pretty good. I think there's like a vertical scrolling shooter called Flying Tigers, if I'm correct. I think the art style looks pretty good. I love vertical shooters. It reminds me of like the 1940s series of games, like 1942, 1943, stuff like that. The Finnegan Fox looks good. I like 2D side-scrolling platformers, so I'm sure that'll fit right into my wheelhouse. The Hot Wheels game looks like a lot of fun and quick, bursts or whatnot. The retro reimagined games, kind of like Astro Smash and Night Stalker and Missile Command and Breakout, stuff like that really intrigues me too. I think a lot of those games look really, really good. Now, granted, these games do have that cell phone style to them. They do kind of look like mobile games. I'm not going to deny that. But I don't really care about that. I've never been much of a graphics kind of guy in general. And to me, I think the games look fine. They do have that style, but some of them have some other styles as well. I've seen some games that look like they're like a watercolor painted and stuff like that. So going forward, it'll be interesting to see what the rest of the games look like. And if they do go more towards, some of the retro style games, or if they stay in that, that cell phone style of visual style. But like I said, I'm not hating the way the games look like some people do. A lot of people think the games look great. I am looking forward to some of the other old Intellivision games that they might remake. I've heard rumors that they're going to do Beauty and the Beast, which is a fun game. So it'd be nice to see a newer version of that. Shark looks like it could be a lot of fun in short bursts. So yeah, I feel like these games are made for me. Somebody that's just looking for something they can play really, really quick. I'm not overly sold on the controller, but there is a lot of stuff built into that controller, so it will be nice to see how it interacts with the games. And I'm sure it'll be fine for a lot of these quick experiences. You don't need a lot of buttons for these games, it appears like, or anything like that. So who knows? We'll see how things work out when they come out. I mean, nobody knows at this point. I know several people have played it, and they can give their opinions on their experiences, but obviously that's not necessarily the finished product, so we'll wait and see what happens when it hits store shelves. So yeah, the system itself, it's been reported that it's extremely underpowered compared to modern systems. Now, obviously, that could affect people's opinions of it. It doesn't necessarily affect my opinion of it. Once again, I'm not a graphics guy. I don't need huge powerhouses. I just want fun games. So if the system plays the games it's supposed to really, really good, that's all that really matters. So yeah, and if you are looking for powerhouse systems, there are those options out there. I'm going to get those too. As soon as I can get my hands on the newest generation of PlayStation, Xbox systems, I'm going to buy those as well. This is more or less just a secondary system, or at least it will be in my collection when I'm able to pick one up. Kind of like the Nintendo Switch, even though honestly the Nintendo Switch gets played more than the PlayStation and the Xbox in my house. But yeah, as an alternative, it doesn't have to be a huge powerhouse. I just want it to play the games that it's designed to play, and if it does that, I'm perfectly okay with it as it sits. But yeah, so the system looks like a lot of fun. The games look like fun. But you know, this system does have some criticism, and it's warranted in cases. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys know watching this video, it's been delayed a third time, and they have not announced a new release date, which is perfectly fine. If they don't know when it's coming out, they should not put a release date out. Just wait till you can get something concrete. That's my feelings on it. Now, they're talking about the worldwide pandemic as a reason why the system hasn't come out, and granted, that does affect a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I know it does. But there's a lot of stuff that has been put out during the pandemic and continues to get put out during the pandemic. Now, a lot of times people have to pay a little bit more for parts to put these systems and different products out. But that's a given. Everything's gone up in price. I mean, I'm sure you guys know when you drive your car, gas has gone up. When you go to the grocery store, food has gone up. Everything's gone up in prices. So they're talking about chip shortages. Now, the chip shortages are a real thing. Now, you can still get these chips. You just got to pay more for them. So, Intellivision, it seems like, to be completely honest with you, in my opinion, they want to make a decent amount of money off the sales of these systems. Now, for a startup company, that's not necessarily a bad thing. They need to make money. But on the other side of the fence, people who are a hater of the system could say that they're just not confident that their software sales will be where they want to be. That's the reason why they want to make all their money on the system sales. Because historically, PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, they don't always make a lot of money off of their system sales. In some cases, they lose money, but they make all their money off of people buying the software and peripherals like controllers and stuff like that. So obviously, Intellivision doesn't know what their market is yet. So maybe they aren't super confident on software sales. Maybe they need to make a bunch of money off these systems when they initially produce them. And like I said, for a startup, I can completely understand that, but I can see the other side of the fence as well, that maybe Intellivision just isn't very confident with what they're going to sell software-wise. So who knows? I mean, they know, but that's pretty much it. Everything else is just speculative, and people have their opinions, so they're going to talk about it. So, with the chip shortages really quick, you know, Sony, Xbox, they haven't been able to get their systems out the way they want to, but both have produced millions of systems, so Intellivision could do the same thing if they really, really wanted to. And honestly, if the Amico is using outdated products, outdated chips, and everything like that, you would think that the market for those chips aren't as strong as like the chips that Sony and Xbox are using. I'm sure not as many big companies are going after chips that are 5 or 6 years old. So you would think that it would be easier to get those chips that the Intellivision needs than it would be for Sony to go out and get the chips that they need for the PlayStation 5. Because you would think that the more modern chips are in higher demand, which would drive cost up even more. So I am a little skeptical of the chip shortage thing, because the Intellivision is using outdated products. So you would think that would be easier to pick up, but once again, I don't know. I'm just a guy sitting here talking about it on YouTube. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm excited for the system. I know it's using outdated hardware. I don't really care about that. I do like the software that they've shown. I like the games that they've shown. Now, granted, they do kind of look like cell phone games, but once again, that doesn't really bother me personally. They're aiming at a younger demographic or families, and I think this system could appeal to that. They just have to market it right and hopefully get it in the right spots. But as a collector, and I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this video too, this could be something that you want just because you're a collector. And you know, the Intellivision doesn't have the namesake as like a Nintendo or a Sony or an Xbox, but it does have its place in retro video gaming, and it's kind of cool that there's a new system coming out with that name. But yeah, in closing, guys, I want to play this. And I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong if you are a super fan. There's nothing wrong if you hate this system and its concept. But try to be nice to each other. That's all I'm saying. We only live once, so we might as well be nice to each other while we're here. And if you're excited for this system, I'm excited for you, and I hope you get it as soon as possible. I hope I can get my hands on it as soon as possible. But yeah, to say that this company and system and Tommy doesn't deserve any of the criticism is kind of absurd. It hasn't been handled the best way, and like I said, I feel like the reason why they're not launching the system is they need to make as much money off these systems as humanly possible, because they've gotten a lot of investments, and who knows how the software is going to sell. But in closing, guys, what do you think about the Intellivision Amico? Do you want one? Do you think this is a scam? Do you think they've handled things correctly? I would love to have a little bit of a conversation with you guys about the Intellivision Amico in the comments. But for now, guys, that's probably going to do it for this video. But first, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Always have, always will. If you know anybody who might like this kind of content, please share the video around. I'm always looking to grow the channel a little bit. But for now, guys, I'm going to go play some games, open up some boxes, try to enjoy the rest of my evening. Hope you do too. So until next time, everyone, I'll see you later.